Once upon a time, in a quiet town surrounded by dusty roads and small markets, there lived a young shopkeeper named Hamid. His life was simple. He owned a modest shop where he sold daily goods, flour, rice, tea, and small household items. He earned enough to survive, his family cared for him, and nothing in his life was truly lacking, yet despite having enough, Hamid was never at peace. Every morning, as he opened his shop, his eyes would drift across the street to another store, larger, brighter, and always full of customers. That shop belonged to a man named Farid. People respected Farid, they greeted him warmly, trusted him, and kept coming back, and his business grew day by day while Hamid's remained the same. At first, Hamid admired him, and he would think that one day he wanted his shop to be like that, but slowly something began to change. Admiration turned into comparison, comparison turned into frustration, and frustration quietly grew into jealousy. Hamid began asking himself questions every single day: why does he have more customers? Why is his business growing and mine isn't? What is so special about him? But instead of finding answers, he found excuses. He told himself maybe Farid was just lucky, maybe people were easily fooled, maybe he had connections, and the more he thought like this, the heavier his heart became. He stopped paying attention to his own shop. When customers came he greeted them without energy, when they left he didn't care, and his mind was always somewhere else, watching Farid, comparing, and burning quietly inside. This is how jealousy works. It doesn't come loudly, it creeps in slowly, disguising itself as fairness or curiosity, but in reality it eats away your focus and steals your peace. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months, and Hamid's business did not grow, not because he lacked ability, but because he lacked attention, as his energy was being spent watching someone else's life instead of building his own. One afternoon something unexpected happened. Dark clouds gathered over the town, the wind grew stronger, and within minutes heavy rain began to pour. The streets flooded quickly and shopkeepers rushed to close their stores, and water started entering Hamid's shop, soaking the lower shelves and threatening to ruin his goods. Hamid panicked. He tried to lift heavy sacks by himself, slipping and struggling, unsure of what to save first, and his heart raced as he watched the water rise, and then suddenly someone rushed into his shop. It was Farid, the very man Hamid had been envying for months. Farid didn't ask questions, he didn't hesitate, he immediately grabbed the sacks and told him to act quickly before the water rose more, and for the next hour they worked side by side, lifting goods, moving boxes, and managing to save most of Hamid's shop from damage. Farid was calm, focused, and sincere, as if he were saving his own store. When the rain finally slowed and the danger passed, Hamid stood there exhausted and silent, and Farid simply smiled and told him he was safe now and to take care before leaving, with no pride, no expectation, and no reminder of what he had done. That moment stayed with Hamid, and for the first time in months he didn't look at Farid with jealousy but with clarity. The next day Hamid did something he had never done before. Instead of watching from a distance he walked across the street and entered Farid's shop. Farid greeted him warmly as if nothing unusual had ever existed between them, and Hamid hesitated for a moment before asking how he had become so successful. Farid smiled gently and replied that he didn't focus on being better than others, but on being better than he was yesterday, and he explained that people see success but they don't see the years of learning, failing, improving, and staying consistent behind it, that success is not something you suddenly receive but something you quietly build. Those words hit Hamid deeply, and he realized he had been looking only at results and never at the effort behind them, comparing his beginning to someone else's journey. From that day, Hamid made a decision to stop watching Farid and start working on himself. At first the change was small. He cleaned his shop properly, arranged his goods neatly, greeted every customer with respect and a smile, paid attention to what people needed, and learned how to communicate better. Days passed and something surprising happened. His shop didn't become the busiest overnight and he didn't suddenly become rich, but something far more valuable returned to him: his peace. For the first time in a long while Hamid went home without a heavy heart. He slept without comparing himself to anyone, and woke up with purpose instead of frustration. Months went by and slowly his efforts began to show results. More customers started visiting his shop, people appreciated his kindness and honesty, and his business began to grow, not because someone else failed but because he finally focused on himself. One day a customer asked him who had taught him to run his shop so well, and Hamid smiled and looked across the street, saying it was the man he used to envy. In that moment Hamid understood a truth that many people never realize, that jealousy does not harm the person you envy but harms you, stealing your happiness in the present and your progress in the future, keeping you stuck watching others instead of building yourself. But the moment you shift your focus from others to yourself, everything changes. There will always be someone ahead of you, someone richer, more successful, more recognized, but their path is not your path and their story is not your story, and the only person you are truly competing with is the person you were yesterday. And once you understand that, jealousy loses its power, because instead of asking why them, you start asking what you can become, and that question changes everything.